We've made it into the last quarter of the year and we've still got plenty of great looking indie games to play as we journey into the holidays. Welcome to Get Indie Gaming, and coming up, we've 10 of the best looking indie games out this October 2019. Even if you haven't played it, you're probably aware of Smash TV. It's one of those games from the 90s that ended up on pretty much every platform, and it's been hailed as one of the most quintessential arcade titles from that era of gaming. While many games have since gone on to imitate or clone what Smash TV did, there hasn't been a like-for-like sequel or iteration over the past few decades. That is, until now. Galaxy Champions TV comes to the Switch eShop on October the 3rd. I've been given an early look, and there's no mistaking those players who like the original one from which this is based will love it. With 4 different planets to discover and over 15 unlockable upgrades and as many weapons, to my mind and recollection, Galaxy TV plays as hard, if not harder than the original Smash. In places it's brutal, with so much on-screen action that you daren't blink, and if you do, well, death comes oh so very swiftly. To be honest, if these twin-stick hard-as-you-like games aren't your thing, then Galaxy Champions TV isn't going to magically convert you to the genre. However, if you have an itch for Smash, Galaxy Champions TV is a must-buy. At number 9, Killer Queen Black is the port of the highly acclaimed Killer Queen from 2013. This comes out October the 11th via Steam and the Nintendo Switch, with a physical edition for this console landing on the 25th. While there are a few subtle changes over the original, for example the player count is now 8 down from 10, it keeps much if not all of its predecessor's action, platforming, strategic nuts and bolts. With quick match, custom play and ranked modes, there's also a variety of online multiplayer options with team-based and up to 4-player couch online co-op. Incidentally, come launch, the game is also to feature cross-play between the Switch and the PC versions. This will be further extended to the Xbox One when it launches on the platform at some point in the future. Now, I missed Killer Queen the first time around, and with this port, I'll be looking forward to getting stuck into it from launch day 1. Up now at number 8, What the Golf is already one of the highlights of Apple's arcade and comes to home computers by way of the Epic Games Store on October 1st. It's a hugely entertaining physics-based golfing parody with a surprising amount of depth. I started playing What the Golf one afternoon while waiting for the kettle to boil. The intention was to stop once I'd poured myself a cup of tea, and there I was 50 minutes later, still well into the swing of things. Next up, we have number 7, Stranded Sails, or Stranded Sails Explorers of the Cursed Islands to give it its full title. It's expected out at some point in the month onto home PCs by way of Steam and all of this generation's major consoles. While I've yet to play it, the footage I've seen over the last few days suggests we can expect an open-world adventure with plenty of questing and discoveries to be made. Drawing heavily from such games as Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, Zelda's back catalogue and My Time in Portia, you begin having been shipwrecked on a group of islands. The game has you then take on a number of tasks, as you'd expect if you ever found yourself in a similar position. There's farming, crafting, cooking and exploration to be done. Here you can navigate across the islands on foot or by boat to discover treasure, tools, resources, and all the things you need to help expand your camp and ultimately build a ship with the goal of escaping the islands altogether. All in, this appears to be something that's perfectly charming and looks a wonderful game to unwind with at the end of a stressful day. At number 6, Autonauts caught my eye at the recent Gamescom, where I spoke with Denki's head of development Gary Penn, who spent half an hour with me discussing the project. Autonauts is essentially a game about automating robots by way of programming in what very much looks and feels like an object-orientated approach. Here you show the robots what to do, and off they go and do it. You begin simply enough on a planet, with one of the first tasks being, for example, to chop down a tree for lumber. It's not too long before you're setting about keeping your colonists happy in a hierarchy of needs type of thing as you produce more automation in such things as farming, beekeeping, power generation, and very much more. This feels like a slow burner type of game, and one I can see myself coming back to time and time again. It's also a fine family-friendly affair, with it having no violence, where you can also use it as an education tool around coding and programming. This comes to home computers via Steam on October 17th. Also out October 17th, Felix the Reaper has graced Get Indie Gaming a few times over the years in which it's been in development. At its heart, we have a comedic, romantic, comedy puzzle game which uses shadow manipulation methods where you create paths of darkness in which your character Felix is able to move around the levels. Now, dear Felix is an employee of the Ministry of Death, with you tasked to ensure people die in ways according to ministerial plans. Much of Felix's charm comes not only from how he looks, but how he moves and dances around the levels. Professional dancers were used within the character modelling, which really shows off in the final product. I had more hands-on time with Felix a month or so ago, and I found it a really classy offering. The puzzles, from what I've seen so far, are cleverly put together. There's also a high degree of subtle macabre humour, which adds an overall depth to the proceedings. The music, as you could expect in such a game, is spot on, with you being able to select what's put on Felix's Walkman from 10 different indie artists. Felix the Reaper is coming to us via Steam and all the usual consoles, with it also being available on launch day via the Xbox Game Pass. At number 4, Concrete Genie is a PlayStation and PSVR exclusive and comes from one of the smallest independent teams within Sony's SIE Studios and pops out October 8th. You play as Ash, a bullied teen who looks to escape his troubles and worries by way of bringing life to the drawings within his sketchbook. Along the way, Ash discovers a powerful paintbrush which he's able to use to see off a terrible darkness that's polluting his hometown, all with the help of some mischievous, almost impish genies he creates while going about his business. I suspect you can guess why I'm so into Concrete Genie. Just look how beautiful it all looks. First impressions with this were laugh out loud joy, and while I'm a little suspicious of the supposed painting mechanic that uses the DualShock 4 controller, the reports coming from people who've play tested in recent weeks are very encouraging. At number 3 and the first runner-up for October 2019, Afterparty is the follow-up game from the folks who brought us Oxenfree, with it ready to launch at the back end of the month just in time for Halloween. In keeping with Oxenfree, Afterparty is a game driven by the choices you make and dialogue paths you take while playing. It features two best friends, Milo and Lola, with them having recently got themselves killed and being trapped in hell, which in this iteration is very much a place of hard drinking and solid back-to-back parties. Milo and Lola do have one option to escape and return to their mortal lives, although this means going up against Satan himself in one of those good old-fashioned drinking games. I spent some time with Afterparty a few months ago. The dialogue is snappily written, and the banter between the two main characters, well, it reminds me of some talks and silliness from my own college days. One of the aspects of Afterparty I really enjoyed in the demo was the ability to speak to NPCs. Some will give you tasks and quests. Again, this is all being determined by the decisions you make as you play. For obvious reasons, Afterparty isn't going to be to everyone's taste. The hard-drinking nature and at times the potty-mouthed dialogue, well, it is what it is, so approach Afterparty with all this in mind. Afterparty comes out via Epic Games Store and the PlayStation 4 with it also being available on launch day by way of the Xbox Game Pass. There's a Switch port expected out some point in the future. At number 2, and developed by the team who made Slain Back from Hell, Val Faris is like the recent Blazing Chrome, a side-scrolling shooter which takes its inspiration from games of way back when, but with this generation's design and gameplay mechanics. Well, all told, this is very much right up my proverbial alley. The pixel art is truly on point, and to my eye, best the likes of the recent Blasphemous. They really are that good. Then of course we have the underlying heavy metal soundtrack, which again is good as anything I've heard, underpinning a game's atmospherics all year. This is everything I've always wanted to see in such side-scrollers, and I'm thinking this is going to be an unmissable experience for anyone who grew up with these games on heavy rotation down at the arcades and earlier consoles. Val Faris launches October 10th on Switch and PC via Steam, with PlayStation 4 and Xbox versions to ship the following month.
Get dressed, detective.
So here we have our number 1 for October 2019, and this is one of the most anticipated games to come out all year. Disco Elysium launches via Steam this coming October 15th. Here we have a pure detective RPG open world that on the face of things looks like a colossal achievement. It's also huge, with it coming in at around 40 or so hours of playtime to get things finished, and up to the region of 90 hours if you're looking to play through everything it has to offer. While game time is no mark for quality, it certainly sets the tone for the level of ambition in which the creators have approached it. Aside from how vast it is, you're free to play this open world in any order you wish. There are no rails here, you can pursue things on a case-by-case basis, or tackle numerous ones at the same time. This gives you a huge amount of freedom while also giving you the space and time to learn and update the in-game skills you need to tackle the many problems you'll face while playing. This is more than your average detective RPG. Aside from the art style and the overall storytelling, the use of a player class and attribute system that evolves while you play, with some traits being said to have cause and effect elements that may trouble your character, well, that's a wonderful premise. As is the so-called inventory of thoughts, a place where your player's beliefs and subconsciousness develops and changes, which can open or close in-game opportunities depending again on the decisions you make while you're playing. The scale here is breathtaking, and from a small team with limited resources, it could end up as being one of the defining RPGs, indie or otherwise, of this whole generation. So that's it, there we have it for the month of October 2019. If you've liked the video, please smash the like button, and while you're here, subscribing is as easy as clicking on that subs button that's on screen now. Many thanks for watching, I look forward to welcoming you all back here soon for more indie game videos.